On this upcoming Attractions episode, we talk COVID-19 and its impacts on the upcoming films we've been looking forward to. Plus, our reviews for The Way Back and The Report. All this and more on episode 163 of Midnight Double Feature.
Matthew, I bet you knew I would say that. What's going on? What's happening?
Just trying to survive. We are in what looks like the beginning of most zombie films I've seen. So it's been interesting. Has this impacted your life in many ways?
Only to the point where it's just like I can't even scroll down my Facebook feed and just not see anything about it. And it's just honestly, it's kind of like, okay, so a couple months ago when this started, I was like, I wasn't freaking out, but I was like, oh, whoa, like we should be kind of concerned. Now I've kind of come through the other end of it, and I'm just like, I'm so over it. Like I'm just so over all this shit. Like everyone's like stocking up on stuff, and it's just But yeah, I mean, but it is life. Like it is something that I feel like the human race is kind of unprepared for or underprepared for. It's kind of weird.
It's crazy that you mentioned that. I saw a clip today. It's been going around Facebook. I don't know if you saw it, of a speech that Bill Gates gave in like 2015. And he's talking about, if there's the end of the world, it's probably not going to be a World War III. It'll probably be a virus. And he just started listing all the ways the human race has not prepared well and for like something like this. And he ends with, if there's any positive from the Ebola outbreak, is that we should learn to prepare ourselves for things like this. And like the caption, of course, was like, Bill Gates warned us of coronavirus, which obviously he didn't. But it's interesting. That being said, I think like it is sort of comforting to hear, as depressing as it is for like things to be shutting down and being locked down and things being taken away from us. It's comforting to know that someone's doing something. And that's all I ask for, other than keep me safe, make me feel safe at least.
I mean, to your point, like, the human race is just so, very prepared to defend itself against other countries and, war and like all that and biochemical attacks. But, I was listening to an interview on the Joe Rogan podcast. They had this like medical health expert on, and he was just like, Joe Rogan asked a, kind of like tangible, pretty good question about like whether this might have been intentional on China's part. And he's like, no, like, this is something that humanity could not have created. It's just an absolute force of nature. And, we could have been better prepared, but it's just the way things go. So,
yeah, like I can understand most conspiracy theories. I'm like, that's fucked. You're an idiot. But it is funny timing how there was the riots and then this happened from the same country. But hey, also China is a fucking gigantic country. Shit's going to happen there. Just like how there's crazy shit coming from America all the time. Size matters, Size also means more shit's going to come from there, good or bad.
Exactly. By the way, I loved how we've kicked off this episode with doom and gloom. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us here at Midnight Double Feature. This is an upcoming Attractions episode 163. We don't have too much this week. We are going to be diving into the COVID-19 situation and how it's affected the global box office and the global film industry as we know it. I mean, like I said, I'm kind of like somewhat burnt out of like this whole shit, but like I do like looking at the cinematic angle of it, or like rather, the entertainment industry angle of it. Because it is affecting us, like even as a podcast, look, it's already affected us, right? Like we haven't been able to give you a review of Quiet Place Part 2 because it's delayed.
Unfortunately.
More on that later. But if you do want to follow us on our social media, which we're not going anywhere on our social media, so you can always follow us there. It's Midnight Double Feature, which is our main page, and then we have the After Party, which is 3 words, the After Party. That's our Facebook group. Everyone's invited, so feel free to join in and join in on the conversation. We're also on Instagram, which is at Midnight Double Feature, and Twitter, which is at MDF Pod, and we are currently running a review contest. So if you review us, rate and review us on iTunes, screenshot your review, send it to midnightdoublefeature@gmail.com. You can go into the running to win a prize, and that prize is a movie that Colin and I and possibly Matt or Danny will cover on the podcast. And these podcasts are substantial; like they take up a lot of our time. So we dive into essentially the movie that you want us to cover. So get in there, get your review in, get your movie pick in, send that to us at midnightdoublefeature@gmail.com. Now that's all the social media and all the plugging out of the way.
And also, I think just to lead us in, I'd just like to also point out, for anyone wondering about the safety of the Midnight Double Feature podcast hosts, we want to assure you that we're okay, because we've been practicing our social distancing for quite some time. Believe it or not, I want to show you how the sausage is made. We record almost every episode remotely. Two of us are from America, two of us from Australia. Not all the members have met each other. In fact, there's not a single member who has met every member of the podcast in person, which is kind of crazy because we've been BFFs for like over 2 years almost, right?
We've been doing this for nearly 2 years, dude. It's literally our second birthday next episode. So
fuck yeah, good point. Yeah.
That's wild. I mean, it's funny because
you
kind of live like 15 kilometers down the road from me, but I still can't come and record with you. It's just like it's just easier to record remotely.
It is.
But yeah, I mean, look, everyone's fine. Hopefully, all of our families are fine. We don't have any reported cases or anything like that, and we do hope that all of our dear loyal listeners are doing okay as well, and are staying strong during this really weird time in humanity's history, which is very strange. All right, man, let's get into this shit. All right, so we got a little bit of talk. Bit to talk about. Are you good?
Oh, I was just gonna. I just thought of a segue. That's all. You mentioned A Quiet Place 2 before. Delays. There's been a few delays thanks to COVID, hasn't there?
Yeah, there's been more than a few delays. So, I mean, like, I think what the studios were doing, they were kind of like waiting to see who the first one was going to be. And it wasn't until No Time to Die, the new James Bond film, that we, Sony came out and said, look, we're going to delay this by 7 months, release it in November, which is actually when most of the James Bond films end up releasing it anyway. So it's kind of weird that it was in April in the first place. But they were like, we're delaying this until the global box office is back on track, which was their excuse. They didn't specifically say the coronavirus was was a contributing factor, but I mean, from their words, you can kind of like take it on. But I think a lot of studios were kind of like waiting to see who the first one was to kind of like play chicken or, like I guess duck out. And yeah, there it was, No Time to Die. And I was super disappointed, man. I was like, what? This movie's next month? This is a massive movie. They've spent so much on marketing it already. Like, this is kind of like unprecedented. And then literally last week, John Krasinski, 1 week before the release of A Quiet Place Part 2, revealed that they're going to put the movie on hold indefinitely. Like, that is unheard of.
That's unprecedented. Yeah. In fact, my little inside source, I have a friend working the marketing for Quiet Place Part 2, and I was like, hey, what's it like over there? And they were just like, this is crazy. We have to cancel so many things. It's a crazy thing how much money is probably spent on, because you got to remember, they're not promoting the film per se. They're promoting the date, the release date, because the first box office weekend is like where all the money's made. And I just think they're going to have to probably do a second marketing. I assume this, I don't know for a fact, but I assume there's going to be a second marketing campaign to promote a new date whenever that comes out, or unless it goes some other way. But I assume it's a big film. It's probably going to get back to cinema. It's kind of a really expensive, it's a really big deal. And to stop it like a week out, like I'm sure the people behind Bloodshot had the same conversation with like, do we pull out? Do we keep going? They obviously chose to keep going. And I'm sure it's affected theirs so much. And you got to also think about, sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, I mean, like the big one that everyone's kind of waiting for is Black Widow, right? I mean, like Marvel have not announced that they've pushed Black Widow. In fact, they're kind of like, it's all, full steam ahead kind of thing with it, They just released a new trailer for it.
Yeah. And the thing you have to think about when it comes to all this is Birds of Prey part of its reason for not doing so well that the studio blames it on, whether or not that's accurate or not, is COVID. Because I think they were expecting
I don't know if I agree with that.
Yeah, I don't know if I do, because I think it had some other issues with its marketing. I think if they called it a Harley Quinn movie from the get-go, like no one knows what Birds of Prey is. So that's hard to promote as well. I think also just while female empowerment is big right now and stuff like that, historically female superhero films haven't always done amazingly, even though that movie is fucking really good. I know everyone will point to Wonder Woman. I'll just point to like every other one before Wonder Woman.
Right?
But Captain Marvel came after Wonder Woman, but fair enough. But before that, there was nothing to point at. Like, what do we have? Elektra? Like, I don't know. And I'm not saying that's a reason.
There. Like, we're in a different world now. I mean, like, for a female, I don't think that's really an argument that, like, anyone can use for it to do bad. Like,
well, I hope not.
Empowerment.
I hope not. But what I want to get at is I think there's a variety of factors. And for them to just blame COVID back then, the only thing that's affecting is China. I think it did as best as it probably could have done in the States. But, fuck it. We gave it a good review. We liked the movie.
Dude, I love that movie.
Yeah. Actually, side note, really fun side note real quick. Took my girlfriend to see that movie. She absolutely loved it. Not even a big fan of superhero films either. But then when she found out there was another Harley Quinn film called Suicide Squad, we sat down and watched it. Halfway through, turned it off. It's like every time I watch it, it gets worse. I kind of liked the first time, but every time I watch it, it's worse and worse. And it just made me realize how much they changed for that film. Because in that first one, she's like a sex addict. She's like insane.
I'm not going into
addict.
This. We've been weird. Into this so often, dude.
They changed Harley Quinn for the better in Birds of Prey so much. They made her so much more likable. Yeah. Anyways, back to Corona. Enough with my little tangent.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the road that we're on. I'm trying to.
We lost the road a long time ago, man. We're in the middle of the desert. There's no roads we're going. Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Nice. Well done with the Back to the Future reference. 10
yes,
points.
But Quiet Place 2, I'm very disappointed. I was really looking forward to that movie. Hopefully it'll come out soon. I think some of the other ones that are worth mentioning about delays, quickly just Mulan. I think they were probably they were probably relying a lot on the Chinese box office. And since they were affected pretty badly.
I mean, Mulan was like, it was surprising because it held on for so long. Like, Quiet Place had already delayed. We'll talk about Fast and Furious. Like that already delayed. And then it wasn't like until after all that they announced that Mulan was delayed. And it was just like, well, yeah, I mean, like, isn't Mulan one of the most obvious ones to be delayed? Like, it's obviously, geared towards an Asian market. So it's like, why not delay it,
And I hate to jump ahead here, but I think what ties well into that is the Shang-Chi film, which was put on hold. Unfortunately, the director was, I think, put in self-isolation. And just these two massive, like, amazing approaches by Disney to combine, like, American Chinese culture to, like, American Chinese production. And they were both so heavily affected by this. Really sad, obviously for different reasons. And Mulan looks kind of good. Yeah. So that might be a while till we see that. And the other, I think, big one. Sorry, there's two other big ones. Like you said, Fast and Furious. They really overcorrected. I think they were like April 2nd, 2021.
Yeah, they were like we're going to delay this by a year.
Yeah. They went ride or die on that one. They were like, you know what? Let's move the finish line somewhere else. And then,
finish line. Big one for That's a good pun. That's a good pun.
I'm working on, man. I'm bringing them in.
You are on fire.
I don't have any puns for this one. Maybe you know what? The New Mutants, their X date was March 12th. That's pretty bad. But let's talk about New Mutants real quick. We need to address this.
Do we have to? I love it.
Let's talk about this. Because I think the most interesting thing about this film is the amount of times it's been delayed. So there's an amazing graphic going around, I think, from IGN. We've shared it in the after party. Go find our after party Facebook group if you want to see this stuff. So the first release is going to be April 13, 2018, and then it got delayed to avoid the box office release of the premiere of Deadpool 2, so it moved to April 22nd. Then
just
they wanted to
pause you right
avoid
there, just quickly. Yeah. April 13 was the first release date of New Mutants, right? Is that what you just said?
2018, yeah.
Cast your mind back to April 2018. We hadn't even seen Avengers Infinity War yet.
Fuck, you're right. This is more than 600 days ago. This is crazy. But yeah, they had to push it back, and then they had to avoid Deadpool 2 in February 2019. So they pushed it back again. And then there was they wanted to avoid it clashing with the Dark Phoenix, X-Men Dark Phoenix, which makes sense, but I don't know. That movie was
I actually
trash.
think New Mutants would have won that one, actually.
Possibly. That movie is bad. I think by brand recognition, it would have lost. But like in terms of quality, like this movie looks, judging by trailers even, if you ignore the fact that we saw the movie, this one has better trailers, you know? Like,
yeah.
But then they had to push it back again because of the Disney merger, which is probably, it's a fair call. And then they had to push it back again because of coronavirus. What is interesting that I'm realizing now is that the first two film dates had to move it back. Deadpool 2 and Dark Phoenix are also owned by Fox and are both connected to the X-Men franchise. So why the fuck was Fox trying to release a movie to clash with their own film from the same franchise?
Yeah,
fucking terrible ideas.
Anyway, man, like this. Okay, here's my underlying question: does anyone care about New Mutants? Like, are we actually keen, or I don't know.
I think I've never seen this happen with a film before. Okay, first of all, I've never seen a film pushed back this much. But I've never seen people.
Yeah.
I've never seen people like kind of care and then lose interest straight away. After so long, like I've never seen. Like, you'd think more promotion would mean more hype, but it's been the opposite. Like, we're over it, you know. And the landscape has changed, and I don't know. The last trailer kind of got me. Like, I always hated all the other. I didn't like any of the other trailers much, but the last one kind of got me a little bit. But the interest has died.
I just watched that trailer for the first time in the movies on Sunday.
Oh, really?
I don't like it. I'm sorry. I was like, I don't know. Everything just looks so overblown. It just looks so insanely overdramatic.
Well, you know what? Too, yeah. It's a weird tone because it was coming out around the time it was a phenomenon, which has come and gone. It's like a trend. It's like it's missed the trend. It was trying to jump onto that, and it's missed that boat. And X-Men just seems like a weird franchise to try and put that into.
I don't mind the idea of it, like, because it reminds me of Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors, right? Like, I mean, it's literally, it's literally kind of the same thing. Like, that's what Dream Warriors kind of was. So I don't mind it. It's just the way they're presenting it in these trailers. I don't know. I seem to have kind of like lost interest in it.
And it feels like, I feel like when we get it, it's going to feel like a weird mash of tones, because look at a film like Brightburn, right? It was a superhero. It was a horror film. It knew it was a horror film. Just had like a paint coat of some superhero elements in it, right? But this movie, like, it looks like it's a superhero film, but it wants to be a horror film, but it wants to be a superhero film. It's like, I don't know if they're gonna pull this off. I'm really interested to
just release it on Disney Plus. Like, you know, just be done with
honestly, Disney don't have a lot to lose because they didn't pay to make this film. They just got to pay to market it pretty much, but I think they don't even want to do that. It doesn't really fit in with their plans for the X-Men franchise. They probably don't. Here's the thing: maybe they don't even want to put it on Disney Plus. You know, maybe they just want to fuck it off.
You know what the biggest dick energy move that Disney have currently swinging right now? Like, they're not even budging on Black Widow. Like, it's like, we can afford to lose the box office due to COVID-19 because we're Disney.
Yeah. They're going to be like, go see our movie. What else are you going to watch? Everyone else pussied out. You got to watch our fucking film now. We're the only movie in the cinemas. You have to watch it.
It's like, do you want to, like, would you risk your life to go see a Marvel movie? And my answer is yes.
100% yes. I would risk my life just to rewatch Thor: The Dark World fourth time. Okay, and I don't even like that movie.
You're going a bit far here. You're going a bit far here, Matthew.
If you told me...
That's a classical Matthew over-exaggeration.
If you told me it had like if you told me it had 30 seconds of unreleased footage, I'd be like, okay, I'll go. That's what... let's move on.
Let's move on. Look, it is affecting TV as well. Obviously, you've got television shows that are currently in preparation and currently being filmed. Fargo season 4 was announced today. This one kind of like really hit me pretty hard because, man, I am a big fan of Fargo. Might even say that it's one of my favorite shows of all time. And I was really looking forward to season 4. Chris Rock's the lead. And Noah Hawley's back in the the creator's chair, and they're saying that it's they're delaying the premiere, which kind of sucks. So there you go. And also, I know for a fact that Falcon and the Winter Soldier is also delayed.
Is it? Fuck. I didn't know that.
Because they were. I can't remember which country it was. Might have been Hungary. They were filming some episodes out there, and they had to shut down production as well. So that was a thing too.
On that note, since you mentioned it, TV, Stranger Things season 4 also halted production, which is a massive, very sad. We're all looking forward to that. What I don't understand about Fargo is if they've completed production, right? So why delay it? If everyone's going to be home under lockdown and stuff, isn't that the best time to release a show so people will be there to see it? Well,
here's the thing. I don't know if they've finished production, have they? Like, is that what's?
Oh, I don't know. I thought they did. Maybe I'm wrong.
So I'm just reading from a Variety article here. The anticipated 4th season of FX's anthology series Fargo will no longer premiere in April as planned. And this is the quote: "Due to the postponement of production related to the coronavirus, the 4th installment of Fargo will no longer premiere on Sunday, April 19th. A new premiere date will be determined once production resumes." So, pretty much the same thing that's happening to Falcon and the Winter Soldier right there.
I think that can be a good almost segue into talking about, as we mentioned, films have been delayed and stuff like that. And, it'd be a great time to watch some TV. Universal has had a interesting way to approach this. So they've got some upcoming films: Trolls World Tour, The Invisible Man, which we just saw and reviewed and loved, The Hunt, the controversial The Hunt, which has finally come out, and Emma, which I think some of them are currently out, some of them are coming out soon. They are all getting really early direct-to-video releases, as in I think like the day they hit cinemas, they are coming to direct-to-DVD. So, or whatever like that, direct-to-video. So that doesn't mean, obviously, Netflix. That means like you can buy it or rent it on iTunes, that sort of stuff. What do you think about that?
This is huge. This is massive. Huge. Only because, I did, the article I read was that some of these movies might be coming as early as March 20th. It is currently March 17th. They didn't name which of the movies were going to be released in 3 days, but The Invisible Man came out 2 to 3 weeks ago. Yeah. And is currently, was number one at the box office for a little bit. So it's interesting because before the virus hit, before COVID-19 hit, we were already talking about the death of cinema, with streaming services and, all these, you got Netflix being nominated for Oscars with The Irishman and Roma last year. 2 years ago, Marriage Story, whatever. So it's kind of like insane that they're releasing this like literally on the day of release, which is wild. I kind of wonder how directors who tout film like Tarantino or Nolan feel about this. Like, I'd like to kind of get their insight on it. I 100% cannot see a Nolan film being released like this. Absolutely not. I know that he will probably leave Warner Brothers if that were to happen, and he is Warner Brothers' golden boy. Just quickly, Matt, I know we've moved on from the halted productions, but it just actually news broke an hour ago that the Avatar sequels have halted production in New Zealand due to the virus.
You mean they're going to take longer to come out?
Oh yeah. James Cameron's using this as an excuse. I bet you. Yeah. He's like, it's not ready yet.
Dude, he's still writing the script. Let's be real.
He's probably still casting and shit. Yeah. But look, that's a massive
as you
thing
mentioned,
with the Universal stuff.
Yeah, and I just wanna add to that. Like, it's funny in the after party, Pat posted a thing from someone one day. It's like, why don't they just release it to Netflix? And we were laughing like that's like, sorry, Patrick and said a friend of his said it or something, and we were like, yeah, that's dumb. We're laughing about that. Then the next day, this news broke out, and while it is, well, I think the important thing to distinguish is the difference between something like this and Netflix is they can recoup some of their costs through sales online, which I think in this situation, like they expect to lose money on most of these films, and they're probably just sort of like, okay, this is a way that we could get some money back. But when you look at them too, like this is bad, but it could have been worse. Like The Hunt was cancelled for a while, and Trolls World Tour probably is hoping to do a lot of merchandising. Hopefully I think they're hoping that would make a lot of buck for that, I'm guessing. And The Invisible Man had already had its big box office release. And Emma, I don't know really much about Emma. So I'm not saying it's a good thing this has happened. I'm just saying, like, it could have been worse, I think. But yeah, they're probably going to lose money on a lot of these projects.
Well, I kind of wonder what other studios are going to start doing this, you know? Like, I mean, if Universal is setting a precedence, then, I mean, who else is going to start doing this? Warner Brothers, Paramount? I mean, like, who knows? So.
Yeah. Well, that also ties into... We'll get through it real quick, but a very similar thing happened with Disney Plus, except what they're doing is they got the latest Star Wars film, Rise of Skywalker, and Frozen 2. They've just moved up the release dates to, I think, pretty much now.
It's a fun movie, all right? Yeah. It's a fun movie.
I liked it too. It's okay. I'm on your side.
Sons of bitches. Fight me.
It's not that bad, guys. It could have been worse. It's not that bad.
It ruined my childhood.
Your childhood is already ruined, okay, by school bullies and social media. It's okay.
And wedgies. O'Doyle rules. Sons of bitches.
Just wrapping up. Also on Disney note, they've closed pretty much, I think, all the Disneylands. I think
that's wild.
Or a lot of them. But it also makes sense. Like, you know, it's gatherings of 500 people in Australia. I'm not sure how it is overseas. That's definitely more than 500 people in there. They're probably not gonna. It's probably, you know, if no one wants to go there, it's probably cheaper to close the park anyways, because the amount of people they're gonna have to pay to run the place and stuff. If they get 10 people coming to Disneyland, that's not going to pay for everyone who runs the park. And also it's like responsibility. Like, it's the responsibility of protecting people. And something I was talking about someone this the other day, not just about film, but like actually not really about film, but just like events in general. Like, we've had concerts shut down. We've had football games, NBA, all that stuff. Well, in addition to that, nobody wants to be the brand with coronavirus. Like, let's think about, if you think about airlines, right? I'm use Australian ones, American listeners who can deal with that shit. But let's say I'm Qantas and I'm looking at Jetstar. If Qantas gets like gets a passenger with coronavirus and they all do it, God forbid that happens.
Yeah,
but if that was to happen, it's bad. Like, for forever, they are the airline who gave someone coronavirus, even though they didn't, you know? And so everyone's going to go with Jetstar. For the next 3 to 5 years, they're going to have to do so much PR and campaigning to like win the public's trust back. So, you know, if Disneyland gets it, people will be like, fuck it, I'm going to go to Six Flags. They didn't have corona. And they'll just be there like, you're going to be like, guys, we had it for one day. Like, you know, if someone gets corona at Macca's, everyone's going to go to Burger King, you know? Or if you get a Domino's, you're going to go to Pizza Hut. Like, it's also...
I feel like some of these, like some of these ones that you're mentioning are kind of like bulletproof. I can't see Macca's doing like that happening in Macca's. I just can't. It's just...
I'm just saying random brands at this point. But you don't want your brand associated with a bad thing.
No, you don't, and it's just bad PR. But look, let's close it off there. We've been talking about this for half an hour. I'm just gonna say one last thing before we do move on to the Black Widow trailer, guys. I know this is kind of rich, and I'm not a medical expert, but just chill out. You know, I think what's really happening is there's a lot of disingenuous media reporting. There's a lot of panic. There's a lot of people stressing out. There's a lot of disinformation or misinformation. So I think the best thing to do is for people just to take some time, think about things, and act accordingly. Because some like people are actually getting hurt and people are being affected by these things. So,
but Zoheb, will Tom Hanks and Idris Elba be okay?
Tom Hanks has been released from hospital, so he's fine. Idris Elba, I don't know.
Yeah, actually, on that point, as I was saying before, like when Tom Hanks got it, I was like, no. I'm not going down history as Australia being the country that killed Tom Hanks. I'm not allowing that. He has to fight this thing. He has to do it for the sake of our entire country, okay? We can't handle that bad PR. We've already got giant spiders killing everybody and stuff.
We can't let it kill Tom Hanks because of his two dogs. Right?
No one will come back here again. Right,
exactly. But yeah, guys, that was my little serious note before Matt ruined it. So no, I'm kidding.
I'm here to fuck shit up. That's my deal.
We're here to fuck shit up. But yeah, look, just take care, guys. That's all we want to kind of like put out there. Just take care, look after one another, and hopefully we'll come out of this on the other end. But now let's talk about some Marvel fucking shit, right? I mean, like that's why we exist, to talk about Marvel shit. The Black Widow trailer. The final trailer. I don't really like talking about, second trailers or final trailers. I usually kind of like talking about the first reveal. Unless it's like a teaser or something, then I like talking about the first substantial trailer. But this trailer, man, this got me so much more excited for this film. The first trailer was good, but it was like, oh, yeah, I'm still going to see it only because it's a Marvel film, but it didn't really, like fill me up with all that Marvel goodness, And now I'm just like, I'm all in. Just sign me up. I'm all in. Get me in there. What do you think?
So I like to call this the Taskmaster trailer because it clearly highlights him and he's so fucking cool, I think.
But he's got a shit mask.
You know what though? Even if you say that, when the hood's up, it looks cool. Like it even looks more comic accurate when the hood's up. So people can hate.
I'm not legitimately saying that, right? I'm saying that ironically.
I know. I know who we're talking about for real. It's okay. I don't think he listens.
Not one person.
No, some people are like that, but I think it looks great. I think it looks cool. I think it looks fun. It looks like if Winter Soldier, Avenger fight itself a little bit more. You know what I mean? It's got a bit more CGI, a bit more bigger, over the top set pieces. It's an interesting setting. I'm only now starting to appreciate the different setting of this compared to other Marvel films. And the only concern I have, and this goes back to Taskmaster, as cool as he looks, we haven't heard him say a word. I hope he's just not like a silent Terminator villain. I want some character.
They're holding back. Well,
that's what I'm counting on.
Absolutely. I mean, Marvel only getting better with their villains, I feel, especially these later phases. I think that's why I'm more excited for this, because of this trailer, just sort of like how mysterious they keep Taskmaster still. He says nothing, he just does cool shit. He's feared, and I just I love that. When a villain is feared, then that's when they're here to fuck shit up. I'm definitely getting some Winter Soldier vibes too. Yeah,
I think the thing I'm most interested about is how do you end a film like this? Obviously, we're going to learn more about. I was reading an interview with Kevin Feige not long ago, and I was talking about we don't want to do an origin film for a character we already know. And he kind of said out something that I think people have said about prequels in the past. He's like, we don't care. He's like, we don't care where she gets her stingers from. We don't care how she learned to fight. None of that's interesting to us. So if we're going to go back and do a prequel, we got to bring new stuff into it. And they fucking have. We're meeting a family. It's a new setting, a new type of villain that sort of does, it's weirdly nostalgic the way he throws back to the other superheroes' powers, but it's still fresh and new. But I'm just thinking if they're going back after killing her, spoilers for Endgame, are they going to give us something that will tie into that'll make us appreciate that scene more? And even more so, I'm curious, is this going to be a trilogy or just a one-off film? Because Marvel's never done a one-off film before. So that I find to be really enticing. So I can't... the Marvels, the way they get you a lot of the time is how they end the film, the post-credit sequences. And I think this is going to have some of the most interesting post-credit scenes and ending of any of their films. Because a lot of the times you're like, oh, we know the character will be okay. But this one, like, we know the character will be okay, but like, what emotional stakes can be involved, what character development and work can they do in it. It's a very interesting situation we haven't seen in a Marvel film before. And obviously you can't promote that in your trailers and stuff, but anyone who like appreciates storytelling and knows Marvel well can probably see all the potential like cool shit they can do. But Marvel's also good at surprising us. So I know, man, I can't wait to see what they do with that. I think it's really interesting.
Yeah, definitely, dude. I'm super excited to see how they do it. I mean, if there's one studio, I say it all the time, if there's one studio that can pull it off, it's Marvel, right? Like this whole weird timeline, kind of like interconnected shit. Like they know exactly what they're doing, and I'm 100% more excited. I'm excited to see Red Guardian in action. Like he looks awesome. Like I like the Russia setting. Like the way the fight scenes are structured and the use of like the higher use of gunplay, especially. Definitely reminds me of Winter Soldier more. Like, you know, and that's most certainly a good thing. Because we don't see, you know, in the wider MCU, we don't see a lot of gunplay, right? Like, unless it's...
You know what, man? I was thinking about this the other day. How come we never see Captain America with a gun anymore? He has it in all of the first movie. He has it for a singular shot in Avengers 1. And he never picked up a gun anymore. And I get it. It's a kid's film and all that. But, like, this guy has record history of using guns. Give him a fucking gun. I wish he just like shot Thanos in the face.
I'm not that bugged about it. I mean, like, because Captain America did a great job with just a shield. Like, I don't think I was fine with it. But like, you know, there's something about the use of firearms in, you know, Winter Soldier and Captain America Civil War that kind of like added to the real world-esque feel of it. And, you know, obviously Natasha being a spy. And this being set in Russia, you know, I'm feeling it. Like, you know, like when she's on the bike and she's getting fired upon, it really adds a lot to it. You know, it takes away from the, I guess, the Disney-fied elements of it and just adds a bit more of an action sort of feel. But yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's look. I think it's safe to say we're both probably going to go see this opening day, right? Probably together. If anything.
Corona or no Corona, we'll find a way.
Corona, no Corona. Yeah, we'll find a way. By the way, also just breaking now, and I hate to keep doing
what
this.
Happened?
Birds of Prey will be released on digital next week. So there you go.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah. So it looks
Speaking
like
of digital, actually, it just occurred to me. I won't do a review for it, but before the podcast started and we started recording off air, you asked me if I hadn't seen anything lately, and I was like, I think I saw something I couldn't remember. For the first time in like years, I bought a film on iTunes to watch with the missus. I saw the new Addams Family movie that came out last year.
Oh, how was it? I've been buying shit like more and more on iTunes.
Oh yeah? I never do. Like I find this off. If I do, I rent it if I have to. If I really want to find something and I can't find it anywhere. But usually I can find what I want.
All of my products are Apple. Like, you know, I've got a MacBook, got an Apple TV, like iPad, iPhone. Like, you know, I can just pick it up and watch it anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, Addams Family. Yeah, it's okay. Like, I preferred the Addams Family values, the older ones from like I think they're the 90s, early 2000s. But
Tim Burton, right?
Yeah, it was okay.
Oh no, John Turteltaub.
Oh no. Yeah. It was very Tim Burton inspired. Like you can feel the Tim Burtonness.
No, Barry Sonnenfeld. Fuck my bad. He did Men in Black. Shit.
Oh, did he? Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. But it was interesting. Just it's really weird when you get Migos doing the theme song at the end, and I get like rap music is more like modern these days, and kids will like it more. But the rap music in the Addams Family movie, it does not feel right. But it was cool. It was cool.
Is that how it went? Kind of. Yeah.
Not exactly, but yeah.
I'll never do that.
Yeah, please. I was like, oh, so that's what Zoheb sounds like when he fucks. When he fucks. This guy fucks, ladies and gentlemen. He fucks.
I've got like, dude, when I fuck, I've got like zero breath. Like I can't even breathe. Sounds
it's like 4 pumps. Zoheb just does 4 pumps, and then he goes, it's 4 pumps, and then 4 pumps again, and then That's how real goth boy. That's how the goth boy click rolls, son. That's how we fuck.
And also, it sounds like I'm running up a mountain because I'm just that out of breath.
Oh, it's fucking hilarious. Okay. Enough about that. Enough of ruining everyone's making you bleed from the eyes. Although I rather enjoyed the imagery. You've got two films to review today. It's The Report and The Way Back. And then our next episode, we'll talk about Bloodshot, Save Something for the Winter. So what do you want to start with, The Report or The Way Back?
Yeah, I'll start off with The Report.
Morning, Dan.
Morning, Senator.
Have you seen the story today in the New York Times?
Evidently, the CIA destroyed tapes of interrogations of Al-Qaeda detainees.
I want to find out what was on the tapes and why they were destroyed.
No paper.
Paper is a way of getting people in trouble at our place.
At our place, paper is how we keep track of laws. Last night I found this. He's detainee number 24. Have you guys used this thing before?
No, we watched the video.
They waterboarded him 183 times.
11, 12.
Everything they got from him was either a lie or something they already had.
If it works, why do you need to do it 183 times?
Maybe when the report comes out, people will finally see that.
The Report is a movie that's way up my alley, right? It's a political thriller, political conspiracy thriller, based on a true story. Basically, it is a Amazon Prime exclusive. So I don't think it got a cinematic release here. But it stars Adam Driver in the lead role. And it's basically, he plays a guy named Daniel Jones. And Daniel Jones was an investigator who was working for the Senate Intelligence Committee. And they were kind of like investigating the use of torture by the CIA after the September 11 attacks. And it actually is a super eye-opening film. Like, it's kind of insane how blasé the CIA were about like flouting the law and like, you know, I guess treating prisoners of war. You know, they obviously, as everyone knows, they used the term enhanced interrogation techniques instead of the word torture to kind of like get around different laws, like human rights laws and things like that. So this movie kind of like sheds a light on all that kind of stuff. Dude, Adam Driver, fucking awesome. Like, he is just killing it in everything he's in. And this movie came out last year, so this is in addition to A Stellar Year after Marriage Story and Rise of Skywalker. So he was already like killing it. But yeah, man, this movie is just from top to bottom. It's thrilling. It's interesting. It's funny actually because it goes kind of hand in hand with the movie Vice. You know, the Adam McKay, Christian Bale Vice. Because in that movie we get a scene with Dick Cheney's people sitting down with a couple lawyers, and one of the guys who would go on to be the Supreme Court judge, who's a lawyer at the time. But essentially, what they're trying to do is they're trying to get around the wording of the Constitution, and they're trying to get around the wording of, like, you know, human rights and what the government can and can't do. And they're like, well, the president has this kind of power in this kind of like situation, so this is kind of a loophole. And that scene is kind of like echoed, like literally we see that scene in the report, like kind of like done in a very much more serious and less satirical way. But yeah, man, like this movie is fantastic. It's very eye opening. Essentially, what he does is he creates this report, this massive report. I think it's thousands of pages. And then it comes time to like release the report, and they get so much pushback from the CIA, they get so much pushback from the actual government, and they're like, well, no, we need to be independent about this. We need to release this as normal. And it's funny because what ended up happening is the two guys that were pushing back on him in the CIA, so like the main two guys that were in office, like in the director position, they ended up kind of like going on and having great careers and getting promoted, whereas the guy who actually did the groundwork, Daniel Jones, he didn't get recognized at all. Like he just kind of like kind of disappeared. He just said, look, I'm not going to leak the report to the media or anything. Like, I'm just going to let it come out as is. And he just kind of disappeared. And it's just a really kind of like sad ending for him. But I don't know, man. Like sometimes that's reality, and it was just it's the only word I can use is eye-opening. If you are even a little bit interested in this source material, or even just this kind of like subject in general, like, you know, the zero dark 30 of it all, the enhanced interrogation techniques. If you're into law at all, if you're into criminal justice, then you'll absolutely love this film. So yeah, really well put together film, dude. I really enjoyed this movie. I'd probably give it a 9 out of 10. Pretty solid.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. I'm a little bit familiar with the original story. Not super though. I love Adam Driver. We'll have to check it out for sure.
Yeah, I think you might dig it as well, man. Like, I know it's not really your bag, but it's like from a movie making perspective, it's
good stories are my bag.
Yeah, that's
good
what
stories are my bag. People think I'm just this wacky guy, but I can be deep sometimes. Okay, I can be smart. I'm an intellectual occasionally.
Dude, you're smarter than you give yourself credit for.
Thank you, my friend. Anyways, you've been saying that to me since the way back when. What a segue!
Oh boy.
Here's your review for the way back.
We need a new coach, Jack. You're the first person I thought of.
The team any good?
No.
In fact, the last time they made the playoffs, back when you were playing.
It's the whole team? 10 kids? I want to know why they're leaving you open. It's because they don't think you could hit the ocean from the beach.
Snap. Heard you're coaching basketball.
Keeps my mind off other things.
You don't decide the game. The players decide the game.
I understand you're trying to motivate the team, but we have a code of conduct.
Oh, shit! I'm working on it. Work harder.
I got a feeling this team is not as bad as its record.
We have to trust each other.
We have to have faith.
I just want you to be happy again. But you kind of want it too.
Don't underestimate the impact you can have on them.
You got this. No, don't just nod. I want to hear your voice. Yes or no? Yes, coach. You're nervous. I get it. Truth is, they're more talented than you. Probably got a better coach. But I promise you, they are not a better team. Because they haven't been through what we've been through. They don't know adversity. They don't know what it's like to get knocked down and have to get back up again. They don't know what it is to fight.
So this is probably the bigger of the two movies that I'm going to be talking about. The Way Back is a kind of like a sports drama movie. It's directed by Gavin O'Connor, who did the phenomenal film called Warrior with Tom Hardy and Joel Edgerton a while back. It's a kind of like UFC one. And then he made The Accountant with Ben Affleck, and now he reteamed with Ben Affleck to do The Way Back. And The Way Back, the story is kind of basic. It's a little too basic, but I don't mind it because it's very simplistic. It's basically this alcoholic loner who used to play basketball. He gets called in by his old school where he used to be a champion, and he just is asked to coach these kids, right? And basically he has to find his way back from alcoholism, from ruining his own life, essentially. He goes through all these like trials and tribulations. He gets into some pretty shitty moments, including like I'm not going to go into it just for spoilers' sake, but basically they're all like alcohol fueled, and like he's kind of like realized that he's kind of hit the bottom of the like rock bottom, and teaching these kids how to play the sport and how to just be good and lead good lives, like just leads to a better life. And he, the ending doesn't fully, like there's no on the nose kind of like scene where he's throwing like a bottle of vodka into the fucking bin or anything like that. Like, it is a little more hopeful, and you do want to hope that he has like learnt lessons from this kind of stuff. It's funny actually, because I was listening to an interview with Gavin O'Connor, and Gavin O'Connor was talking about how sometimes difficult it was for him to actually film Ben Affleck like drinking like fake drinks. Considering that Ben Affleck, when he got this script, when they started working on this movie, Ben Affleck was just coming out of rehab. Like literally, like he was back on the wagon after Justice League. Like he was kind of like He was off the wagon after Justice League, and then this happened. But he said, like, Affleck apparently said to Gavin O'Connor, like, just give me a chance, I can do this. Like, and you can feel that this might be one of the most passionate performances from Ben Affleck I've ever seen. Like, he is,
wow,
he is giving it his all, dude. Like, he shows you why he's such a good actor to begin with, and why he's always kind of like always in the conversation. Like, I mean, when he had that great run of films with, directing Gone Baby Gone, he didn't star in it. Directing The Town, starring in The Town, directing Argo, starring in Argo, and winning the Best Picture Oscar for Argo. Like, when he kind of like had that run of like great success, this kind of like movie makes you realize or remember that time, and you kind of like wish that, holy shit, man, I wish this Ben Affleck would do more shit like this. This is a good movie. You should check it out. You should check it out if you're into basketball at all, if you're remotely into kind of like touching, heartwarming stories, if you're into great performances, if you're into, I guess, alcohol recovery.
If you're really into that, you got some explaining to do. I'm sorry.
It's very touching, dude. It's a good story. It's got a lot of heart to it. I definitely would recommend it. It is a little overly simplistic, and it kind of ends a little abruptly. But I would recommend it for sure. I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10, dude. It's pretty good. Awesome.
Yeah. Well, that concludes our reviews for the week. Before we close off, do you mind if I talk about some little bit of fan mail? I hate to use the word fan mail, but that I received that I think is really interesting to talk about.
Absolutely.
Sorry, I didn't tell you about this, by the way.
We have an MDF game. We're not going to close it off yet.
Oh, fuck. I forgot about that. That's going to be cool. But I guess this is a tie into working with our listeners. Yeah. Anyways, I just thought this was really interesting. I totally forgot about it until right now. I got a message from a friend of the show, Carlos Freitas, I think it's pronounced.
Oh, nice. Carlos. Yeah.
And he pointed something really interesting out that I think you would love to fucking hear.
By the way, Carlos, just a quick plug. He is one of the hosts on the Hey Do You Remember podcast. And he helped Colin and I cover The Warriors a while back. So if you want to go check out that episode, that's on our feed. Definitely check it out.
So anyways, he was talking about last episode where we talked about the trailer for Candyman. And I'm just going to read this out here. He goes, mentioned the black lead and how it saves this iteration from the white savior complex. And what he goes on to say, which kind of got me really interested, he goes, the cool thing about this film is that it's also set in Chicago, in the same area where Cabri Green was. And it's being, I'm bad with names, I'm so sorry. But he goes, but the area nowadays, in like a more modern setting, it's completely gentrified. The projects aren't there anymore, which was a big part of that film. And he's like, now it's all townhomes, condos, and very affluent white people. And he goes, if you look at the trailer, and I will emphasize, he says, I think if you look at the trailer again, only white people are shown getting killed or even saying his name. Even if it's not exclusively that. And so I'm just like, fuck, okay, so that's probably going to be a big theme considering Jordan Peele and the creative team attached. And he goes, if I recall, when it was announced, Jordan Peele said something about wanting to keep the story in Chicago because he had a very specific vision based on what's happened to that neighborhood. So again, about gentrification and stuff. And when I heard that, like, I liked the trailer and now I fucking love it, knowing that history to it. Because I'll admit, like, I don't know a lot about that history. I'm an Australian. I've been to Chicago 1.5 times. I drove through it once, but I've been there once, basically. I don't know very little about it. I know Chance the Rapper and Kanye West seem to enjoy that place a lot. But knowing that, like, just how much I always knew, like, Candyman was a big thing for like that culture, but like knowing more now about the history and how that could affect the themes of the film in a very Jordan Peele way, even though he's not directing. Like, to me, hearing that, I'm like, ooh, that sounds like a good fucking movie, right?
Yeah, no, for sure, dude. Absolutely. Yeah,
sorry, I just thought that was really cool, and I got really, really into that, and I'm like, ooh, fuck yeah, I want to see that movie even more now.
Oh hell yeah, dude!
But
that's awesome. Like I'm
so
keen now.
thanks Carlos for letting us know. That's really cool.
And you know what,
this is a
man?
great segue. Sorry, go on.
These guys are. I mean, like Carlos, Donna, Kristen, and of course Chris do a fantastic job over at fucking Hey Do You Remember, dude? Absolutely one of the most inspiring podcasts to inspire Colin and I to start Midnight Double Feature way back when. So yeah, we absolutely love those guys, and they do, honestly, without any kind of like sucking up, they do such a better job at podcasting than we do. I'm always like jealous, dude. So I'm always looking up to them. So thank you so much, Carlos.
Fuck, that's a plug if I've ever heard one. That's a good one too. That's a good one. Yeah, but it's a good time to talk about our after party community. Talking about the MDF game. So
yeah,
Zohar, take it away.
Absolutely. Each week each upcoming attractions episode, we ask a question on our after party group, which is on Facebook. Follow it, the after party, and basically we post a poll, and with that poll we post a question, and usually it's like, what is your favorite whatever? This week we actually asked two questions because we were celebrating International Women's Day a couple weeks back. So the first question, and we'll get to the second question, the first question is, to celebrate, our next MDF game will be, what is your favorite film directed by a female director? And Matt, I'm supposed to guess yours. You're supposed to guess mine. We don't know each other's answers, obviously, and we'll chime in with what the after party community had to say, and who they voted for and what movie they voted for. But go, you guess mine. Go for it.
If I had to guess, I'm gonna say yours is. Oh, I did not think about it. Judging by the list you put up, it's not going to be Wonder Woman. It's going to be one of these films. I'm going to guess maybe
Was it one
American
of those films?
Psycho. You would put it in the list, right?
Would I? I don't know. Maybe I'm messing with you.
You're fucking with me. It's not Clueless. Oh, is it Clueless? Is it Clueless? Nah. I reckon
You got to lock one in.
I'm going to go American Psycho. Did you pick American Psycho?
I love American Psycho, but it is not my favorite film directed by a female director.
No. Can I guess again?
You don't get two guesses. I know it. What the fuck?
Fuck. I just figured it out. Okay. No, go on. What is it?
My favorite film directed by a female director is Zero Dark 30.
I knew it! Because I looked at it, I'm like, isn't that based on a true story? Oh, it's kind of military. Oh, Zohar loves this type of films. Fuck. Why did I pick American Psycho? Damn it.
So, I mean, look, man.
I was either that or The Hurt Locker.
Yeah. I mean, look.
Same director, right?
Right, yeah, Catherine Bigelow. It wasn't going to be Hurt Locker because I just think that movie's a little overrated. But look, man, there's plenty of films out there that are directed by a female director that are actually amazing, man. Like one of the ones that I came really close to choosing was The Babadook. I gave that a 10 out of 10 when we covered it on the podcast last year.
Love it.
But Zero Dark 30, man, I mean, like that ticks all of my boxes. It's a conspiracy thriller. It's a military thriller. It's about the hunt for Osama bin Laden following the September 11 attacks. It's got a great performance by Jessica Chastain. It's very well shot. It's very well executed. The whole compound sort of raid at the end is just absolutely stunning, and really, really intense. It's a really amazingly well put together film by Catherine Bigelow, who is might be one of my favorite female directors, if not my favorite female director. Have a listen to these movies that she's directed, dude. Like, okay, you probably haven't seen Near Dark. It's a vampire film. It's pretty good. Blue Steel, Point Break, right?
Yes.
Point Break with Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze. Strange Days, K-19, The Widowmaker, The Hurt Locker, Zero Dark 30, Detroit, and Triple Front. Oh, she didn't do Triple Frontier. She produced that, but Detroit was actually a really underrated and very great film that had John Boyega and Will Poulter quite a while in 2017. Really good film. K-19, The Widowmaker, is also really good. Point Break, obviously, doesn't have to be said. Near Dark is a film that Colin always recommends to me. I haven't seen it yet. I do think The Hurt Locker is a good movie. I don't think it's Best Picture worthy, which is what it won. Obviously Zero Dark 30 is kind of like the dark horse there that kind of like just took everything out, man. Like I I mean, anything to do with classified information and, SEAL Team 6 and shit like that, dude, I'm always down for. So, yeah, I mean, and look, you can go on about the historical inaccuracies. You can go on about the fact that it might be a kind of like an idealized version or story of something that might not have happened. You can be a conspiracy theorist and say that they didn't actually kill Osama bin Laden or whatever, but as a film, it's really well put together. I know, dude. Like, there's people out there, trust me. But as a film, it's really well put together. It's really well put together, and it's just a stunning film from start to finish. There's scenes in it that just absolutely just make you jump, dude. Like, it's yeah, it's fantastic. I love that film. Really great film. All right, Matt, I'm going to guess yours. Is it... You can narrow it down for me. Is it on the list?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Is it The Matrix?
Yes, but I feel like I'm cheating by picking The Matrix because at the time they didn't identify that way, but they do now, so I think it counts. Yeah. So The Matrix is my favorite film of all time, and the Wachowski sisters are amazing. I tried to come up with my second favorite. Which I found really hard because there's not a lot. I don't know, man. Like, it might be. There's a good chance it could be. I started looking up films. Like, I really love The Babadook. I found, you know what? Actually, I found really interesting. So many films that I consider to be really macho and masculine are directed by women. A lot of them are by Catherine Bigelow. Like, the fucking dude. Like, fucking, what's it called? Keanu Reeves, Point Break, dude. That's such a manly film. Yeah. But, I was looking at a few others, like, I believe Billy Madison was directed by a female, I think.
What? No.
I think it was. Like, I remember it was one of those era films of Adam Sandler. I remember reading that somewhere once or hearing that somewhere, and I was like, okay. Yeah, I think The Babadook could be a close second. It's not one of my favorite movies ever, but like I just want to give it a shout out because I think it's really underrated for a comic book film. Punisher Warzone.
Alexei Alexander. Yeah.
Which is one of the few films on how did this get made was actually like there for like positive reasons as opposed to negative. Yeah. They even had the director on. I remember hearing that a while ago.
Yeah. I just want to rectify. Tamara Davis is a female director, and she did direct Billy Madison. So there you go.
Yeah. All right. So I was right. Cool. Fuck yeah. Yeah, and I think there's like I really like Birds of Prey, which is directed by a woman. I think that was
Marvel are having a massive year, right? Both of the Marvel films this year are directed by female directors. I mean, obviously Black Widow, which is directed by an Australian female director, Catherine Shortland or Kate Shortland. I think it's Kate Shortland. And then, obviously you've got Eternals later at the end of the year, directed by Chloe Zhao. So, yeah. I mean... Yeah.
Well, look, I think basically it's an easy pick for me to say The Matrix. So I'm going to stick with them.
That was an easy one for me to choose. Yeah, that was like really, really easy.
I'm very vocal. It is my favorite movie ever made. It's one of the... It was, I think, the first time I saw a movie where I was like, fuck, how do they do that? I want to know everything about the behind the scenes for that film. And I think that really helped me shape my love for filmmaking.
Absolutely, dude. Yeah, absolutely. I know, like, I fucking love that movie too. American Psycho came really close to being my second choice. But yeah, turning to the after party, the winner of the poll for favorite film directed by a female director was 2017's Wonder Woman, directed by Patty Jenkins. And then second place, American Psycho. I know we have a few fans in our after party who love that film, which is including me. Third place, The Matrix. And then after that, you kind of have the, 7-way tie? The Babadook, Zero Dark 30, Point Break, The Hurt Locker, Monster, directed by Patty Jenkins, Clueless, directed by Amy Heckerling, and Hitchhiker, directed by Ida Lupino. So that one was put in by Danny Felch, who put in 1951, The Hitchhiker. No votes for either of the Greta Gerwig films, Lady Bird and Little Women, or the Sofia Coppola film, Lost in Translation, which always seems to come up in like top film lists and stuff. So that's why I put that in. And I was like, oh, no votes. Interesting.
Ooh, I just read. I've been looking up, seeing if there's anything I missed. Shrek was co-directed, and one of the directors was a woman.
So I didn't count
fucking
those.
Incredible.
Yeah, I didn't count those. I definitely saw Shrek was co-directed by a female, but I didn't really. I wanted like single kind of like sole directors. But yeah, so let's get to some comments. Tiffany Bell said, "I'm going to go with Matrix because it's Matrix." But I watched Zero Dark 30 on repeat.
Good reasoning.
But it's funny because she's got both of our choices, right? She's like, but I watched Zero Dark 30 on repeat for like a year, and Clueless was in the middle of high school years and just brings back great memories. Hashtag thanks badass bitches. Danielle Cutter says, gotta go with American Psycho. 1, the film is amazing. 2, the fact a female director was able to do such a fantastic job capturing the male gaze in a way that was both enticing and repelling cannot be praised enough. Side note, this is a hot take. Greta Gerwig is an overrated director. Woo! Damn.
Why?
You know what? I kind of agree. Dude. I mean, look, I haven't seen Little Women, but I thought Lady Bird was so overblown.
Okay.
Did you like Lady Bird? I'm sorry.
Look, it wasn't for me, but yeah, okay. I sort of see it a little bit, I guess.
Oh, dude. Fucking Joshua Babcock in the after party. Matrix was released in 1999, not 1993. Well, I'm sorry, dude. I was walking and typing, all right? I was walking and typing this poll. But thank you for correcting me, Josh. I really appreciate it. And Danny Fouch said, I added the only movie from before 1990, even though none of your kids have heard of it. Love it. Matt, do you want to read our second MDF question?
I will. I'm just looking for it. I remember it has the word sorcery in it. I'm looking for. Can you read it? Because
I've already got it. I've got it. The second question is: who is your favorite actress working today? So, favorite actress working today, Matthew. Guess it. Go for it.
Your favorite actress?
Yeah.
Is it?
You got one choice.
Charlize Theron.
It is Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what's funny? Colin and I have never had this conversation, and I'm looking at the poll now, and Colin voted for Charlize Theron as well. So that's like super, super interesting. Yeah, man. Look, Charlize Theron she's just got so much range. Like, you know, she can do an Oscar-winning role like Monster, and then she can star in a terrible movie like Prometheus, and then go from that to like Mad Max Fury Road. And then go from that to Fate of the Furious. Like, you know, like she can I feel like she can do anything. She's like a chameleon. And then she can do like comedy as well with Long Shot.
She's so good at comedy. She has a scene in, have you seen Long Shot? Have you seen the Long Shot?
I just said Long Shot, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Long Shot. Yeah, like the scene where she's high and negotiating with that terrorist is so fucking funny. And I'm just like watching this, like seeing like, this is incredible. And she's so crushing it.
Incredible.
Like, she is so fucking funny. And she can just act the shit off too. Like, she's amazing.
It's crazy to me, dude, because it's like, not only can she pull off comedy, but I mean, her action chops in Mad Max Fury Road, dude. Like, I mean, like you don't even need to say anything else. Like,
dude, like if you want to see her do action, maybe not the best film, but amazing action scenes. Blonde Wick, what's it called?
Atomic Blonde. Holy shit, dude.
Atomic Blonde, yeah. Dude,
I actually love
like
that
those
film.
action scenes are great, and she does so many like great action scenes, and you can tell it's her for the most part. Like, it's pretty fucking great.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I can't think of many like blockbuster like actors with as much range as that actress. Like she was almost my top pick. It was very, very close.
Right. And she's also led a really strange kind of like personal life. Like she grew up, she was born in South Africa. And I did read an article where while living in South Africa with her parents, like she literally had to defend her mother with a knife from her father, who was an abusive guy. Wow. Like, yeah. So, I mean, like, if you do want to read into that, go for gold. But I mean, I don't want to like misrepresent anything. Let me just go through a few things, dude. Like, okay, let's The Devil's Advocate, right? I mean, with Keanu, Reindeer Games, right? And then you got just like smaller movies, and then you got Italian Job. Italian Job might have been the first thing I saw her in, actually. Monster, North Country, which is really good. Aeon Flux, which is a bit of a misstep. She was in Arrested Development for quite a while. She was a great character in that show. She was in Hancock, dude. Like, young adult, Prometheus, of course. Snow White and the Huntsman, Dark Places, Mad Max Fury Road, The Huntsman, Winter's War, Atomic Blonde, Fate of the Furious, Gringo, Longshot, Addams Family, Bombshell, right? She was just nominated for Bombshell. And then you've got Fast 9 and Atomic Blonde 2 coming up as well, which is interesting. So there you go.
Cool. Do you want to guess mine?
Yeah, look, I'll go ahead and guess yours. Have you, by any chance, found the poll yet?
I have, yeah.
Is it on the list? Is she on the list?
No.
Oh.
But admittedly, the person I've chose does not have a huge body of work. And I'm just going based off enjoying this person's performances. But my number 2 pick, which was very close to being my number 1, is on the list. Okay.
Well, my number 2 pick was Emily Blunt. So...
Okay, mine was the other Emma Stone.
Oh, nice.
I love Emma Stone. She is so charismatic.
Good pull. Good pull.
But
yeah, I can't
my
think
number
of
1 pick.
I can't think of a number 1. Can I have a hint?
Mostly known for television roles as opposed to film roles.
Television roles.
Has a Netflix show where she's the lead currently.
Netflix exclusive.
Netflix exclusive, and another show. This might give it away. Another show just had its season finale recently where she was a voice actor of a main character.
Fuck, dude.
That was also a Netflix exclusive. Alison Brie. Annie Edison from Community.
Nice.
Yeah. I love Alison Brie. I think she can do drama amazingly, but she's probably one of my... She's an amazing comedic actress. The way that she can go from like... She like, if you even just watch Community... The range her character goes from is crazy. Like her character starts off as a very like uptight, like well put together, like teacher's pet character. But then like throughout the series, like she does like just real sexy, just like over the top sexualized sort of character. But then she can also just change to like dramatic roles as well. And no matter what she does, if it's comedy involved, she's fucking hilarious. She's so great. And a lot of her big roles, I think, are actually voice-based. Like, she's Unikitty in the Lego Movie. She's Diane Nguyen in BoJack Horseman. And BoJack Horseman is, like, one of my favorite shows ever. And Community, she's Annie, which is one of my favorite shows ever. She's also pretty good in Sleeping with Other People, which isn't, like... Yeah, and then, Get Hard. She has an amazing scene with Will Ferrell.
We know the one we're referring to.
But I just think mostly though, like I just love her like performances when it comes to comedy. And and I don't know, just every time I know that she's attached to a project, I'm instantly more interested. And I think that's enough. But if I had to go based off body of work, it'd probably be Emma Stone, just because she's done so much good shit. And she's also pretty incredible too. But yeah, Alison Brie is my number 1 for now.
Hell yeah, dude. Fuck yeah, that's awesome. I would never have picked that in a million years. I mean, like, even though, you know, as soon as you told me, it all clicked. I was like, oh, you're a big Community fan. And I know you love BoJack, so yeah, I should have guessed that. But damn, I didn't. The score is 1-1. Oh, no.
Can I also say, surprised we didn't get more love for... Oh, wait, is she even on our list? Natalie Portman was also a close to becoming number 1 for me.
I feel like...
she's on our list, yeah. No votes for Natalie Portman, but she's done a lot of good shit. It's just like, even though I think she's amazing, a lot of those films I don't love to death, you know?
Well, I mean, like, I feel like she's not in... I mean, she's in movies these days, but it's like, I feel like she kind of like had her heyday like 5-6 years ago, right? Possibly.
Like, every now and then she has like a real cool project. Like after Black Swan, not much for a while, but then Annihilation was a fucking great movie.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's because of her, But the thing is, though, it's like, was it because of her performance, or was it because of like a great concept? You know?
Yeah.
And then
I mean, like Alex Garland's just a top-notch director as well.
Yeah, but like if I think of like an actor that like really just commands the screen and I'm just always sucked in, Alison Brie, Emma Stone, like they're easily my top two.
Those are good picks,
no
dude.
doubt about it.
Good calls, absolutely. Yeah, we obviously got our after party community to chime in. Surprisingly, the winner of this poll is Michelle Yeoh. Like I would never have seen that coming at all. Michelle Yeoh is a prolific like actress, so I should have pulled that. Like I should have pulled that down. I'll go through her filmography when it loads.
She's got like, I think like you wouldn't, when you think of her, she's not like an actor when you think of like, oh, big Oscar winning Hollywood actors, but you look at her work and you can see how she's like quickly developed a cult following.
Oh, dude, absolutely. Like Crazy Rich Asians, right, is probably the most recent big one. I mean, obviously she's in Star Trek Discovery as well. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Kung Fu Panda. Like she's got a lot of like Eastern films like that aren't really like English speaking. Memoirs of a Geisha, which was a big Oscar pick. Tomorrow Never Dies, I mean, like, which is a Bond film. But yeah, I kind of wanted to see like what people's reasoning were for that, and it's I mean, like Danny Hartley kind of put it the best way. You know, co-host of the show, Danny. He said, I get excited whenever I see Michelle Yeoh. Across her 3 decades of acting, she maintains the ferocity of a dragon and steals the camera in her early Hong Kong film starring Jackie Chan, as well as being graceful and funny in non-English/English roles like Crazy Rich Asians. My favorite role of hers is as Shu Lien in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, when she's deeply moving during moments of sincerity between her and Chow Yun-fat. Then turns the dial up to 11 in a blink to have my favorite fight scene in movie history. There's actresses that have range, and then there's Michelle Yeoh. Damn.
Wow, fuck, that is well put in. Yeah, I'd say like also just notice our demographic, predominantly male and massive fucking nerds. So of course I'm not surprised, and I'm saying that as because we have agency to say that because we are predominantly male and massive fucking nerds. But like I think our fan base, like I'm not surprised went for something that would be more of a niche choice in other circles.
Neither am I.
You know?
Neither am I. I'm actually really proud of the after party for this choice.
Yeah, not a typical response. I much love that, and won by like double. It
won massively. Scott Buchanan is also another backer of Michelle Yeoh. He says, she's simply marvelous. In my Western eye, I first loved her as a Bond woman. Again, Tomorrow Never Dies. To Hidden Dragon, to Star Trek, to Sunshine, to Geisha. She doesn't turn what she touches into gold. She is gold. Damn. And the other runner-ups were Emily Blunt, of course, right? I mean, how can you go past Emily Blunt these days, dude? Like she is also another actress that turns in comedy, as well as family movies, as well as action films. Like she's also got an amazing amount of range to horror as well with Quiet Place. And like you said, Emma Stone as well, also another runner-up. Sigourney Weaver, damn dude, like Sigourney Weaver is probably the nerd queen. Right? I mean,
yeah. Like, I'd say, like, she's, like, I don't know, who would be the nerd king? Would it be, like, Nathan Fillion? Someone like that?
Probably Nathan Fillion. Probably, I'd say Nathan Fillion, dude. Yeah. I mean, yeah, for sure. And then, you know, so those three were tied for second place. Tied for third place was Charlize Theron, Amy Adams, and Tilda Swinton. Oh, and Helena Bonham Carter. All great picks. And then, you know what surprised me, dude? 0 votes? ScarJo.
ScarJo. Well, what? She does have a great, like, history of work. Body of work. But I think nowadays, maybe because the Avenger films are so popular,
Marriage Story?
maybe people look at, maybe that, like, overshadows her work, and she's not the star of them, so maybe that affects people's judgment, but like then she just, like you said, she just had Marriage Story, which is a fucking slam dunk.
Her, she's great in Her. Again, that's also Lost in Translation, like I mentioned earlier. That's another big one. So yeah, I don't know. I was really surprised that no one picked her, but hey, there we go. There we go.
Well, that's how I feel about Natalie Portman. And you also know in any other fucking group, any other like set of people voting, Meryl Streep would have gotten a lot more love. A lot more love.
Right. I mean, like, I was just kind of like, as I was putting in these choices, I was like, who are all the big kind of like actresses, right? So I just put ScarJo, Meryl, Marion Cotillard, Natalie Portman, Jessica Chastain. Lupita was a big one for me. I came really close to choosing Lupita, but I don't think I've seen enough from her to kind of clinch it from Charlize yet. Like, she is one of my favorite actresses that is working today. Absolutely. Like, she's, you know, from 12 Years a Slave to Us to Black Panther, she's killing it. Frances McDormand is also another big choice, dude, from Fargo to Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Viola Davis, also, again, How to Get Away with Murder. And also Widows, she's fantastic. And how can you go past the Australian icon, Cate Blanchett, right?
Yeah, gotta love Kate.
Gotta love Kate, dude.
Also, I just realized I never mentioned it when I was talking about Alison Brie, but yeah, her new show Glow on Netflix is pretty fucking great. It's with Mark Maron from the W2F podcast.
It's not.
I
Is
really
it
love
new?
that
Is
show
it on
too.
the third season? Or
It's going into season 3, I think. So
right.
Yeah, so it's not that new, but it's really good.
Nice, dude. Well, all right, man. Look, that does it for our MDF game of the week. Thank you so much to the After Party for chiming in, for giving us your love. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for voting. Thank you for keeping us going. We love you guys. Matt, do you want to close this episode out?
Yeah, just thanks for everybody for listening. And everybody please stay safe. Don't forget to sanitize your hands and cough into your sleeve
and wipe your ass.
Stay safe out there, folks. Yeah, just in general, wipe your butt. And if you run out of toilet paper, don't fight an old lady in the shopping center for it.
Nice.
You find something else. The world is your toilet paper. You can wipe your butt on literally anything.
Use seaweed.
Cactuses, pens, knives, other objects that aren't sharp. You can do that.
Photos of Donald Trump.
Come on, guys. Yeah, I hear he has some toilet paper in his head. It's some say it's hair, others call it.
I think that might be alive, dude. You got to be careful of that. You got to be careful of that, putting that on your ass.
I have heard rumors that it can talk. It can talk.
There you go.
Anywho, thank you very much for joining us, guys. We'll catch you on the flip side. Laters.